Joined by Tom Gross, he's an international affairs commentator. Welcome to the programme, Tom. So first of all, this is all pretty terrible timing for Prince William, isn't it? This visit coming not long after the latest explosive revelations about his uncle Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. How do you think the Prince will be navigating this?
Yes. Look, it's very difficult for the Prince because to the extent they're royal headlines in the British media, they're completely around Andrew. And one of them even involves a royal visit to the Middle East, because it's now revealed in one of the Epstein papers that Andrew lobbied for Epstein on an official visit to the UAE, you know, the neighboring country to Saudi Arabia, when he was visiting on behalf of the Queen. So, and as viewers may know, there's also a lot of domestic turmoil. There was rumours yesterday in Britain that Prime Minister Keir Starmer may be forced to quit. He's held on, but for who knows for how much longer. So in some senses, Prince William's visit to Saudi Arabia brings some nice calm and reminds people in Britain that the monarchy, for all its faults, you know, is a force for stability in Britain, whereas, you know, prime ministers seem to change more quickly in Britain than they do in Israel nowadays. So it is an important visit in terms of, you know, trying to garner trade and so on. But it's also, you know, Britain, post-Brexit Britain's looking for its place in the world. And there is an idea that because Prince William is a prince, somehow he can connect better with the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia, even though, of course, they have nothing in common. The Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia is all-powerful in his country, whereas Prince William really has no power at all.
Yeah, two princes, but not much in common. You're right. But Prince William is one of the more popular members of the British royal family, isn't he? And he does have this image of being compassionate and empathetic. How is that going to work when he's in Saudi Arabia, a country with a pretty terrible human rights record? Could we imagine the Prince will be broaching any subjects like gay rights or the death penalty or anything else?
I'm sure he's been briefed not to mention anything of the sort. And, you know, this is one of the problems. Britain left the EU, fellow democracies, and now it has to, you know, seek additional trade with dictatorships like Saudi Arabia. And, you know, Britain has a monarchy, but it's definitely a democracy, and its monarchy doesn't actually rule the country. MBS, as he's known, is an absolute dictator. It is true that he's moderating slightly, and Saudi Arabia's opened up a little bit with rights for women and allowing men and women to mix in public and so on. So it's heading in baby steps in the right direction. But William is going to have to be very diplomatic, and I'm told he has been asked to talk about football a lot, soccer, football, with the Crown Prince. You know, both Saudi Arabia, through the Saudi royal family, owns one British Premier League side, Newcastle. Prince William is a keen supporter of another, Aston Villa, and those two teams just played each other, with Aston Villa winning 2-0, so maybe they'll talk about that match.
Ah, perfect. Football is always a safe topic for these kind of gatherings, isn't it? They might also talk about the past, because the two families do have quite a history, don't they? We know the late Queen visited Saudi Arabia. King Charles has been there many times as well. The two families do have a relationship that has evolved over the years, don't they?
Well, they do. And in fact, Prince William has met the Crown Prince before, when the Crown Prince visited London in 2018. And there have been multiple royal visits to Saudi Arabia and to other Gulf monarchies. But again, you know, in the Gulf, it cannot be, I can't overstate it enough. The monarchies, such as they still exist in Europe, like Norway, Britain, the Netherlands, are, you know, pale imitations of what they once were. It's basically just sort of for show, for tourism, to boost popular morale. Whereas the monarchs in the Gulf, and in particular in Saudi Arabia, are as, you know, totalitarian as the leaders of, I don't know, North Korea or something. It's got more power, in a way, MBS, even though he's the Crown Prince, because his father, the king, is not really active anymore. He's got more power than dictatorial presidents like in China and Russia, or even in Iran. In a way, he should be called the supreme leader, MBS, not just a Crown Prince.
All right, we'll have to see how that visit pans out. Tom Gross, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.